In my hood, you hear sirens and semis pop. Judah keep vexing Ephraim. When will the envy stop? No love for any cops. That's what got Kenny shot. Y'all drinking Henny shots. I'm investing in penny stocks. They give me props. Rapping, teaching, debating unity while Satan trying to weaken the nation. Cops in my community kill us with every opportunity. No justice or peace. The police get immunity. Look, rubber bullets and riot suits when they gear up. Asking where the love went, cause judgment is near us. And kids rather pour up a foe and sip the syrup than learn about how the black Moors ruled in Europe. We divided by economic material skills. My people are serial victims of imperialism. I tell the truth in the booth, boy, my pen no lie. They love the Hebrew Israelites. Ask the N-O-I. Let's pray. I pray. Abba, Yahweh, rise. I pray for your grace and everything that you shall provide. I pray every day that you teach me how to strive to put my trust in you, because in you is where the power lies. My people are dead and punk will come out of hide. I pray every day, no excuses or alibis. I pray that every last one of these cowards die. I pray all of this in the name of Yahweh Shai. Can't feed the flesh, don't need the stress, so I fast and I rest instead. Cold sweats in the bath, trying to grasp if I sat in bed. In my dream, I had a twin. He stabbed me to death and fled. Visions of a pale horse and a dragon with 7 heads. Vagabond, Babylon, being watched by the Lord. Can't even stop by the store, cause on my block it's a war. Jehovah Witnesses don't even knock at my door, cause they know they false doctrine will get chopped by my sword. Yeah, I'm with the lyrical or the spiritual murder play. I see some ravenous wolves leading the herd astray. My homie's mom's a tweaker, I watch him survey. I'm numb to this game and the pain. I'm an inverted. When the Messiah comes serve, we gon' witness the sun purge. He coming back to judge every idle and dumb word. My team always moving in silence, we unheard. The elite wanna converge on the elect and the 1/3. I pray, Abba, Yahweh, rise. I pray for your grace and everything that you shall provide. I pray every day that you teach me how to strive to put my
All right, brothers, let's have fun with it.
Stepped up on the scene, casting at them doctors and them idols you esteem. Yeah, you might think it's a little extreme, but I'm all about my people, yeah, they need that vaccine. Oh, no actors, but we got that action. See them purple garments on with that gold accent. Yeah, you say you got the name, but your fringe is absent. Y'all going backwards like subtraction. So keep it in step. Sabbath day approaching, so you know it's time to prep. Sound the alarm, cause my people overslept. Yeah, you hear them trumpets blowing, sounding like a quartet. Oh. Yeah, this that purple rain. So the Bible you can't sleep on. When Christ return, yeah, the Lord gonna turn that heat on, and all that nonsense gonna be gone. Oh.
Let's go. Let me show you where I got the inspiration from. You gonna go into the Bible? I'm gonna go into the Bible. These niggas ain't read the Bible. I've never read the Bible. Damn. watch Prince videos.
There you go.
That's befitting.
Okay, my turn. Purple rain on me. Exponential growth, that's why you hating on me. This is IUIC, acting like you don't see. Boy, we know you frontin'. Please, see us on the corners, unlike you, we be like read. Coming out the scriptures, yeah, you know just how we teach. Teach class online 7 days of the week. Being earned everything that you wish you could be. You see it? Shafat, whole campus surfing. Y'all ain't the original school, you just refurbished version. Earthsome, open your mouth, but won't speak with no verses. We got Bibles while y'all yapping, man. Y'all captain is worthless. Earthsome, I know. But the truth is the truth. Run your damn mouth and got Deke in the booth. Having fun with your slander, cause our fruit is our proof. Yeah, we worldwide with it, never mention you fools. Move. That's right. Working man coming through. We got jobs, we ain't living off our women Hebrew. That's a nigga, my dude. But you say you a Jew? Hell out of here with that debating. You negating the truth now. Ain't nobody playing leather headband, man. Yeah, we heard what you said, but it came back. Man, we the prophets of the Lord. Better understand. Put that foolishness aside and humble down, clown.
Simon is so great. Nobody else is allowed to wear that color. It would only him, so it was always a dignified royal garment. So they were mocking Christ in a garment. Put a purple garment on it and mocked him.
We the rulers, purple rain, excuse me, don't mean to boast. Who the Israelites and all you gonna see is purple and go from coast to coast. We in the street, filled with the Holy Ghost. All this purple up in this jar gon' make you have an overdose. We the leaders of the people, so rock 44 and 4. Don't know no other Israelites that go harder than we go. Just left a quest for 12. Try prophesy to island folk. Next trip West Africa, we waking up the Ivory Coast with pin down. If you don't, it's suicide. Coco Bang, purple raining in your hood like them hustler working thing. We is where United Ties dance, right? Don't curse the night. We gon' gather 1/3 and watch the world birth and play. I can change since we came with the true brother, y'all. Now you heard your church of pride. Yeah, it's true, you want some style. Why they hating on us? The prophets say it ain't a game. Double honor to our bishop, these haters can't stand the way.
So when I read these scriptures, brothers and sisters, I saw meaning in purple. I saw meaning in that color. So as a people, we've been stripped of our royal heritage. The wicked mocked our king, our leader, our commander with purple. Well, as servants, we gonna mark this kingdom and raise up the 12 tribes of Israel. Dominion.
Can you stand
About like what the tribes are.
This is not just made up. All this stuff comes out of the scriptures. And when you got a leader that cannot explain his doctrine, that's a fool. Because everything that we are about, we can explain.
Yep.
Out of the scriptures.
Purple rain, fly in the plane. Purple garment so clean, you don't see a stain. All that hating bring us fame, so we do our thing. Purple rain, we giving you haters chest pain. It's a shame how these brothers got hate on the brain. They got the spirit of Cain, so we in our own lane. Nobody saying we'll jump in front of a freight train, but they killed the prophets and these brothers will do the same thing. Dang, I ain't about to play with kids all up in our Kool-Aid, but they don't know what the flavor is. Tell them what the flavor is, great. Now they hating this, I wish I could see their faces when they looking mad playing this, man. Hard in the paint, I might slam. We supposed to be bros, we supposed to be fam, but you on the internet talking greasy like spam. Keep talking smart and we gon' clown you like Pam. Man, don't mess with the prophets that's out here wearing purple. We in the same mind, you ain't messing with my circle. A bunch of lions with Bibles, we'll let these scriptures hurt you. We jumping hurdles, we got the whole world on our shoulders. Sit back and let that purple rain. Don't kick against the bricks, don't try to come against the grain. Ain't nothing I can say to them. I'm about to go and pray for him.
God, we them dudes all purple, all gold. Unbelievers complain, y'all hurtful, y'all cold. I'm looking at your journal, then I'm looking at your members every year. Same people, y'all circle look old. Y'all turtles move slow. We ain't with the feelings. Yeah, you ain't growing, you hit your spiritual ceiling. Y'all be hiding sins, not us, we revealing. Yeah, our nation's sick, and our people need a healing. But y'all ain't got the medicine. Actions don't show, y'all late, call them Letterman. Get it? Late show, David Letterman. Yeah, I'm at the gates, I see David, they like, let him in. All this purple everywhere, yeah, we stay ahead of him. Hating on the bishops, man, you fools stay sweating them. Why y'all steady hating? You supposed to be our brethren. Galatians 5:9, get rid of all that leavening. I bet you like it here, you look comfortable. When them chariots come, I'm trying to be punctual. Yeah, you lacking wisdom, so your breakdown dysfunctional. Y'all be playing kid games, go and grab a Lunchable. Haha, shame on you. We can't grow, so I'ma put the blame on you. You sound stupid, so now this purple rain's on you. Better repent, or he gon' put them flames on you. Burn up.
Because we what? Because we love the brethren. And that's what these brothers don't have. They don't have the love for the brethren.
For you to go on YouTube and speak evil of any man, you understand? That's hatred. Without proof, without talking to that man without proof, that's hatred.
We them Bible beating prophets in that purple and gold. In them scriptures we on fire, y'all just mad cause y'all cold. Shut up. Every time we make a move, y'all complaining. Y'all shooting shots about the purple, now that purple is raining. Get them. It was written, y'all ain't spitting nothing new. They was hating on Messiah, now they hating on us too. They be waiting on us too, trying to see what we gonna do. We got 100,000 views, y'all just mad cause y'all got 2. Do the work, jerk, busybody. Over here we united and y'all ain't hurting anybody. I don't even know why y'all keep trying on. Know why y'all keep coming to your wife to wash your garment. Y'all be teaching, looking, bumming. We the Israelites. Brother, we got work to do. How you find the time to hate another brother's work he do? That's what some old jerk would do. We don't play them hating games. Y'all just over mad cause y'all keep seeing all this purple rain. IUIC is growing. Every year getting bigger. Won't let our sisters be hoes. Won't let our brothers be niggas. We not the type of camp to sit around and talk about others. Y'all can hate your life away, but we got love for our brothers. Y'all brothers talking about colors. Are you serious, cuz? We the flipping sons of God, not the Crips and the Bloods. Y'all must be sipping the suds. I think y'all feeling the buzz. I could have swore I heard them hating, but that ain't what it was. It couldn't be. Maybe they just trying to get some fame. Maybe they just hoping we might justify their name. They call us Purple Rain cause we'll be reigning over nations. Revelations 13:10. Brothers, please have patience.
So when I read
Now this one goes out to all the haters in Israel united in Christ. But we just want to let you know how good we see.
What's up in this building?
Instruct the people.
Now this one goes out to all the haters of Israel united in Christ. Because we know you put a lot into hating us all year. So we just want to let you know out there we see you. There's kids up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play. There's kids up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is. How many times must we check these fools, correct these fools, dissect these fools? They still running their mouth. That's why nobody don't respect these fools, deflect these fools. Know that we don't play, understand we could do this every day. You think you intelligent, you not even relevant. Understand, you are in the room with an elephant. I'm stepping on all your heresies and make the people say, why you didn't listen when we said move out the way? You keep testing us, stressing us. Why you second guessing us, even though you cursing us? God is steady blessing us. We hate to hear when you talk, cause he's a damn liar. So when you say we fell off, we come with more fire. I am not the one to play with these scripts. I will stay with my lips. Anyone trying to twist God's words up, we live and die by these laws. So ain't nobody stopping us because there's kings up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play. There's kings up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play. The elder said we must study for us to get the kingdom, and then go teach our people because we got to bring them to the Lord, cause they so lost. They living in sin, they destroyed, and they going off. And then he told me, God is calling me, so make this a priority. If you see any wickedness, rebuke with all authority. Cause our people are sick, give them this medicine, or God gon' put their lights out like our medicine. I love my people, I don't wanna see them die, but the way that they be living, man, it make you wanna cry.
Why? Cause ain't nobody helping them, no one's doing a thing. So God is gonna raise up some kings, that's why. There's kings up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play. There's kings up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play. Never let you mess this up. Look at how we kept this up. Even though you hate our guts, we the ones that people trust. We moving up every year. Y'all moving like y'all don't care. You brothers ain't going nowhere because you don't serve the Lord with fear. You saying you Israelites, but I don't understand it. You teaching things that we know God has not commanded. You robbing our people and you coming off like a bandit. We ain't gonna stand it. It ain't the way we planned it. Just repent, stop your sinning, and you can make it better. Brothers, imagine what we could do if we came together. We the greatest, I'ma say this, and I don't care. Pump this up in the air and tell everybody here. There's kings up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play. There's kings up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play. There's kings up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play. There's kings up in this building. Look at what we building. We do this for our brothers and our wives and our children. If you ain't rolling with us, better get up out the way. Cause the God that we walking with is not the one to play.
Shalom, shalom. Hello, everybody. It's PhoenixKnightV2 here. And today we're exposing Nickelodeon today. We're exposing Nickelodeon today. And we're also going to expose, of course, some recently information that came out about Nickelodeon. If you know what's been going on, if you know what's currently going on, what happened, well, it's going to get exposed because it's been all over Facebook and social media what's been going on with Nickelodeon. But first things first, let me get prepared and set up, and I will be exposing it. So hold on. Okay, folks, I'm back. I'm going to get ready to expose it. We're going to expose Nickelodeon. We're going to expose, of course, what's really going on. Because everything about Nickelodeon is actually true. And I'm also going to say what's going to be next that's going to be exposed of it. You're like, what? The next thing's going to be exposed next. And I'm going to put it on the list. I'm going to say it regardless. I don't care how people take it, how they feel about it. Disney is going to be next. After Disney will be Cartoon Network and Adult Swim will be next. After Nickelodeon, yes, Disney, Cartoon Network, and Adult Swim will be next on the exposing list, especially Disney. And then Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. But for now, let's get on exposing Nickelodeon. And I'm going to show all the truth about Nickelodeon. So, let's get on with the first video of Nickelodeon. Hold on. All right, I'm going to show it off this video. Hang on. I'm going to show it off this video. Hold on. Because this gets more in depth.
This game, you're not ready.
I've been waiting 17 years for today.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo. And today, we're looking at the biggest bombshells from Investigation Discovery's 4-part expose about Nickelodeon.
Everyone knew it, from New York to California. So who would we go to? Who could we possibly go to complain about this?
Amanda Bynes replaced Katrina Johnson.
I had less and less and less and then no time with Dan. So the new favorite had arrived. I was out.
From 1994 to 1997, Katrina Johnson was the youngest cast member of Nickelodeon's hit sketch comedy series, All That. During her time on the show, she was one of Dan Schneider's favorite young actors, and as she recalled in the docuseries, he even considered giving Johnson her own show. But as she got older, her appearance became an issue for the producers, particularly her weight, which they called attention to.
I mean, that stuck with me. You can't be the fat one. Like, I still hear those words in my head to this day.
With the addition of rising star Amanda Bynes in 1996, Johnson felt she was progressively sidelined by her former mentor, and she left the show a year later. Schneider would go on to be a significant figure in shaping Bynes' successful career, which some people, including her parents, saw as concerning.
Maybe at the time, people viewed it as comedy, but I think now some people are very uncomfortable with the implication.
Gender discrimination and a toxic work environment. In the late 90s, Nickelodeon producer Dan Schneider created a spin-off series to All That centered on Amanda Bynes. For Christy Stratton and Jenny Kilgan, the only women in the Amanda Show writers' room, it was a dream job.
I had been in LA for 7 years, and so it felt very satisfying that someone was going to pay me to write comedy.
However, there were red flags from the start. Stratton and Kilgan were made to share one salary between them, which isn't exactly legal. And along with other female staffers, they allegedly endured Schneider's misogynistic behavior, degrading jokes and harassment.
I don't want to talk about that. I mean, it's not that I'm not proud of it, and I'm also like, ugh. Thinking about it now, yeah, it's like, oh boy, I just think of that poor girl and what she had to, go through.
Stratton was reportedly fired shortly before the end of season 1. Kilgan quit just days into season 2 and filed a lawsuit against the production company for gender discrimination, ultimately settling out of court. The awful experience had a lasting impact on their careers in the television industry.
I knew that this was the end of my career, so it had better be worth it. Like, it had better stop. And to learn that it didn't stop, that it was all for nothing.
Sexualizing the female casts. In the early 2020s, people revisiting Nickelodeon shows from their childhood have noticed that some content was undeniably bizarre, bordering on the explicit.
Once I saw it again as an adult was when that memory came back. So I was like, wasn't funny. It still isn't funny to me.
Old webisodes of Ariana Grande went viral, showing her victorious and salmon cat character Cat Valentine attempting to juice a potato, among other suggestive acts. Former employees also noted that Schneider was instrumental in choosing revealing clothing for the young cast and writing adult jokes into the episodes.
It was clear that there was a permissibility around these sexualized jokes with children.
It was par for the course. Like, strange things amused Dan, and that was just one of the things he thought was funny.
Prior to Quiet on Set, Zoe 101 cast member Alexa Nicholas had already been vocal about her discomfort working on the show. Although she doesn't appear in the docuseries, they reference Jeanette McCurdy's 2022 memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, in which she detailed the creator's verbal abuse and inappropriate interactions.
He'll call people idiots, buffoons, stupid, dumb, sloppy, careless, and spineless. The creator knows how to make someone feel worthless.
Inappropriate adult humor.
I remember someone from Nickelodeon sitting with us and saying like, oh, does this mean, this dirty thing? And Dan was like, no, why would you think that's like tainted, like you've tainted something? And they were like, okay.
Kids programming tends to have some jokes and references for the parents, but Dan Schneider's shows like All That and The Amanda Show often crossed a line. From character names with slang terms to costumes with phallic imagery, it was clear to some people behind the scenes what the writers were alluding to.
Wait, why is this in the show? What is the joke here exactly? There's this weird element of like, they all were able to like pull a fast one and get away with it. And that's like a part of the joke.
Crew members and parents would notice questionable jokes and sexual innuendo, but the environment made it difficult to express these concerns, especially to Schneider. And as former cast members recall in the docuseries, they were often uncomfortable with the material, even if they didn't know exactly what the innuendos meant.
I'm just looking back at it, it's just very strange. Frankly, it was just uncomfortable.
Traumatizing on-air dares. Nickelodeon's On-Air Dare segment was essentially Fear Factor for kids, challenging the young actors to endure gross and scary dares on camera. All That cast members Kyle Sullivan and Brian Christopher Hearn recounted moments on the show that made them extremely uncomfortable for themselves and their castmates.
Those were particularly traumatic, and they were sort of designed to be. The whole idea was that you would have to do something scary on camera, and they got pretty scary.
Hearn had one particularly awful challenge of getting covered in peanut butter and laying down as multiple dogs licked it off of him on stage. In the video clip from the segment, he clearly says that he doesn't like it.
I don't like this. I feel gross.
Sullivan pointed out just how torturous it could be, with challenges that involved worms, dead fish, and scorpions. Young viewers would likely see this as funny, but for the actual participants, it was anything but.
I think that people kind of just look at us and go, you made some money, so what are you complaining about? And yeah, we collect our money, sure, but at what cost?
Racist sketches starring Black child actors.
My time on Nickelodeon played a big part in how I dealt and still deal with racial issues.
With shows such as Kenan and Kel, Nickelodeon always seemed to value and encourage diversity. But in the docuseries, All That stars Giovanni Samuels and Brian Christopher Hearn said that compared to their white castmates, they felt, quote, overlooked.
I understood the magnitude of being the token Black girl, but I didn't realize how significant that was until years later.
Hearn recalled a hurtful incident when a strange character required him to wear a bodysuit, and someone offensively joked about the skin tone color it should be. But fearing repercussions, he didn't say anything back.
Whoever was doing my makeup at the time was kind of like, hand on my shoulder, like, it's gonna be okay, like, don't worry about that he just said.
Samuels and Hearn also occasionally had to play into racial stereotypes. Hearn's mother, Tracy, discussed a sketch that she viewed as racist, one where her son pretended to sell cookies but believed it was made to seem like he was really selling illegal substances. Jason Handy allegations. As a production assistant on Nickelodeon shows All That and The Amanda Show, Jason Handy was a familiar face to young actors and their parents. Speaking in the docuseries, MJ details how her daughter Brandy booked a background role in one episode and began corresponding with Handy via email.
She let me read it, and it was a very innocent email. It just talked about the shows that he had been working on.
But what she thought was seemingly harmless progressed into him sending her an explicit photo. And while MJ didn't go to the police herself, Handy was finally arrested in April 2003 and charged with multiple felony counts involving inappropriate acts and material.
Keep your trust in God and don't forget me. You and all the kids are why I work for free half the week. I love ya, Jason.
He pled no contest and received a 6-year sentence. Shockingly, he wasn't the only convicted predator employed by Nickelodeon. Registered sex offender Ezel Channel, another Nickelodeon employee, was arrested in 2005.
When you look at having multiple child predators who worked at Nickelodeon, it raises some confusing questions on who to hold accountable.
Brian Peck's connection to John Wayne Gacy.
Hi, I'm not just Pickle Boy, but I'm also a trained professional who works here on the set of All That. You can tell by my very important looking headset.
Like Jason Handy, Brian Peck was well known at Nickelodeon. though the acting and dialogue coach was much more involved and even appeared on screen at times. Kyle Sullivan recalled a get-together he attended at Peck's home where he found a weird portrait of a clown.
Brian got very excited when I asked him about it. He flipped the thing around, and on the back it said, "To Brian, I hope you enjoy the painting. Best wishes, your friend, John Wayne Gacy."
He learned that the man had a disturbing, quote, pen pal relationship with John Wayne Gacy, a convicted serial killer who targeted young men. Even at his age, Sullivan knew this was strange. However, he alleged that other guests, including adults and parents, also saw Peck's collection of letters and art from Gacy.
In his nightstand next to his bed, and he pulls them out and starts showing them to me. Your instinct is to give someone the benefit of the doubt. If you've known them for that long, even in the face of this really bad sign.
Drake Bell was John Doe.
Have you ever told your story publicly before?
I have never told my story publicly.
Quiet on Set centered its third episode on Drake Bell, former star of The Amanda Show and Drake and Josh. For the first time, the actor-musician detailed the alleged abuse he suffered at the hands of Brian Peck as a young actor.
You know, anytime I would have an audition or anytime I needed to work on dialogue or anything, I somehow ended up back at Brian's house. And it just got worse and worse and worse.
The acting and dialogue coach became a constant presence, managing to turn Bell and others against his father, who was his manager. Peck was arrested just months after Jason Handy in 2003. Due to his age at the time, Bell's name was kept hidden and he was referred to as John Doe, something very few people knew until now.
Fortunately, there was no therapy and was left to my own devices, which at that age probably isn't the best thing.
Peck's famous supporters. Drake Bell was in attendance at the day of the sentencing for Brian Peck in October 2004. Though he was relieved his tormentor was finally caught, Bell was shocked to see the amount of support he received from notable people in the industry.
His entire side of the courtroom was full. Full. There were definitely some recognizable faces on that side of the room.
These included Growing Pains cast members Alan Thicke and Joanna Kearns, The Amanda Show crew members Rich and Beth Carell, along with actors James Marsden and Taran Killam. In 2024, Boy Meets World stars Will Friedle and Ryder Strong claimed their letters were based on misinformation.
You know, he had Ryder and I write letters of support to the judge. And these are things we did. And again, we did them because we were then lied to. We weren't told the whole story. But it doesn't change the fact that we did it.
Peck pled no contest, was sentenced to 16 months in prison, and was required to register as a sex offender. Still, he went on to work in Hollywood, even briefly on Disney Channel's The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
There are not enough protections in place to keep even convicted sexual predators off of kids' TV shows.
Did you watch Quiet on Set? Let us know in the comments below.
It's a house of horrors. No kidding. House of horrors.
Oh, but we're not done yet, folks. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to take care of some business. But yeah, we're about to expose somebody, of course, who was responsible for the shows and all that stuff. With the evilness of Nickelodeon. Sorry, I got I was gone for a little bit. I had to take care of some business first. Personal business. No. So hold on for 1 second. Hold on. Hold on, folks. Hold on. We're gonna look at of Nickelodeon. We're not done.
List of allegations of abuse, cover-ups, and workplace discrimination. It's clear that Nickelodeon wasn't always a kid-friendly playground it made itself out to be. Drake Bell was a staple on Nickelodeon for years, but there was nothing funny about the abuse he endured during his time on Drake and Josh. He was the unnamed John Doe in an arrest made in 2003 involving his former dialogue coach, Brian Peck, who would eventually spend 16 months in prison after being found guilty of molesting Bell. The former child star kept quiet about the abuse for decades, choosing not to speak about it publicly until 2024. He opened up about the scandal on the docuseries Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV. As he revealed, Brian and I became really close because we had a lot of the same interests, which, looking back, I think that was probably a little calculated.
He just seemed like any other nice coworker.
Bell also revealed that his father, Joe, brought the issue up to the show's producers, but he was immediately shut down and called homophobic. The actor also claims that Peck convinced his parents to allow him to sleep over at his house the nights before auditions, which allowed the abuse to continue. Nickelodeon released a statement in the wake of the scandal that read in part, "We are dismayed and saddened to learn of the trauma he has endured, and we commend and support the strength required to come forward." In addition to the details of Drake Bell's abuse at the hands of Brian Peck, it also emerged that other actors had defended Peck. In an episode of Quiet on Set, Bell recalled the emotional day of Peck's sentencing, in which many of his co-stars sat in support of his abuser. As he explained, his entire side of the courtroom was full. There were definitely some recognizable faces on his side of the room.
And my side was me, my mom, and my brother.
Those recognizable faces included Boy Meets World star Will Friedle, who recalled on an episode of his podcast, Pod Meets World, "My initial instinct was, well, Peck is my friend. It can't be. It has to be the other person's fault." He then asked us to support him and go to court with him, which a lot of us did. We're then sitting in that courtroom on the wrong side of everything, of course having no idea. Friedle has since apologized for his blind loyalty. As he explained, "I look back on it now and it makes me want to cry that I was ever that naive." Bell's former Amanda Show co-star, Taron Killam, was among the many stars to write a letter in support of Peck at his sentencing. James Marsden, Alan Thicke, and Ryder Strong were among the others who also voiced their support at the time. Another scandal covered in Quiet on Set was about a former Nickelodeon production assistant named Jason Handy, who was arrested just months before Brian Peck in 2003. Handy had a history of soliciting and performing sexual acts with young children. A parent of a former child actor named Brandy came forward in the docuseries to detail the sexual harassment her daughter endured after guest starring on the sketch series All That. The mother, identified as MJ, claims that Handy asked Brandy for her email and then later sent a photograph of himself masturbating. Investigators who worked on the case discovered full admissions of Handy's crimes in a personal diary. He was eventually sentenced to 6 years in prison for his crimes. Another Nickelodeon employee was convicted in 2009 when Azelle Channel was found guilty of committing lewd acts on a 14-year-old boy. The network was reportedly aware that Channel was a registered sex offender, yet hired him anyway. Former Nickelodeon staff writers who appeared on Quiet on Set detailed a culture of misogyny and sexual discrimination while working under Dan Schneider, the producer behind many of the network's hit series. They alleged that they received unfair treatment and inappropriate bribes during their time with the showrunner. Christy Stratton and Jenny Kilgan claimed that they were hired as a pair and forced to split a single writer's salary in contrast to male writers who were entitled to full salaries. Schneider disputed those claims in an apology video, claiming that he wasn't responsible for paying writers. He also admitted that it was common practice for a network to offer two new writers, regardless of gender, a shared salary as an incentive to get both of them on the show, if they were willing to split their pay.
I was like, well, I'm excited. I get to stop temping.
Kilgan has alleged that Schneider played pornography in the writer's room and bribed her to give him massages in exchange for airing her sketches. She later sued the production company responsible for the Amanda Show for gender discrimination, and the parties settled out of court. Schneider has since denied Kilgan's allegation.
Sick of all the ads like this one? Just head to adskiller.com, click on Activate Now.
According to several former employees, Dan Schneider's strange behavior on Nickelodeon sets was obvious. As detailed in Quiet on Set, actors, parents, costume designers, and others who worked closely with him all claimed to have witnessed young women giving him massages. Schneider apologized for his behavior on his YouTube channel, as he admitted,
"It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then."
Several internal investigations were launched into Schneider during his time at the network, but no evidence of inappropriate sexual behavior was reported. He was, however, found to have verbally abused staff members. Some Nickelodeon viewers have posted compilations on YouTube of the most questionable scenes from some of the shows produced by Schneider. These clips include Ariana Grande as Kat on Victorious being squirted with a super soaker, and a viscous liquid being shot onto Jamie Lynn Spears' face on Zoe 101. Several individuals have also speculated that Schneider encouraged a foot fetish on his shows. There was even a 2013 tweet from the Sam and Cat Twitter account that asked users to send in feet photos. After starring as Sam Puckett on iCarly beginning in 2007, Jeanette McCurdy went on to co-star alongside Ariana Grande in the short-lived spin-off Sam and Cat. But she eventually admitted that she couldn't have been happier when that show was cancelled. Part of her relief came from the knowledge that she would no longer have to endure abuse at the hands of one network employee, whom she refers to as the creator in her tell-all memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died. The creator is widely thought to be Dan Schneider, who was behind both iCarly and Sam and Cat. McCurdy claimed that she was given massages by the creator and coaxed into drinking alcohol while underage at a work dinner. As she recalled, "I want to say something to tell him to stop, but I'm so scared of offending him." McCurdy also alleged that alcohol was provided to young actors on the set of All That, a claim backed up by Taisha Hampton, ex-wife of former Nickelodeon star Kel Mitchell. McCurdy also recalled a photo shoot that she was forced to participate in while filming iCarly, in which she asked to wear one-piece bathing suits. When she went to the wardrobe designer with her concerns, she was told, "The creator explicitly asked for bikinis." Former child star Alexa Nicholas has been rather vocal about her time on the Nickelodeon show Zoe 101. She's given interviews and even led protests about her time with the network, which ended when she decided to leave the show after its second season. In 2022, Nicholas protested by marching up to Nickelodeon studio doors, as she claimed that she endured years of toxicity and bullying. As she told TMZ, "My personal experience working on Zoe 101 didn't feel safe." Nicholas also supported accusations made by fellow Nickelodeon star Jeanette McCurdy by saying, "Jeanette and all of us deserve an apology." On an episode of the Dear Media podcast Real Pod, Nicholas claimed that Dan Schneider was always present during her wardrobe fittings.
Thank God there was a curtain, but he was literally on a chair right outside of the curtain.
Nicholas also alleged that Schneider asked to keep the Polaroids of her outfits, which often included her character in short skirts. As for the apology that Schneider posted on YouTube, Nicholas isn't buying it. She posted her own video on her YouTube channel, in which she said, "You didn't feel anything, Dan. You're like every frickin' privileged white male I've honestly ever met on set."
You don't even know what accountability is.
While several Nickelodeon stars have spoken out against their former employer, That's not true of every veteran of the network. For example, former Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide stars Devin Werkheiser, Lindsay Shaw, and Daniel Curtis Lee have rewatched their old episodes and discussed their experiences making the show on their podcast, Ned's Declassified Podcast Survival Guide. In a video posted on Werkheiser's TikTok, the co-stars discussed Quiet on Set by making light of the accusations and cracking jokes, which many viewers found to be in bad taste. Werkheiser went on to clarify, "Listen, our set was not like that. And no, it's awful. The Drake Bell is crazy to hear." An offended Bell responded on social media by writing, "Ned's declassless? This is wild. Laugh it up, guys. Laugh it up." Really? Werkheiser backtracked his jokes soon thereafter, as he publicly apologized to Bell and admitted that he spoke without seeing the documentary. As he put it, "I was being an idiot today. No way around it. I'm sorry for compounding any hurt." Drake Bell's Drake and Josh co-star Josh Peck believes that he may be on the outs with Jeanette McCurdy. During an episode of Peck's Good Guys podcast, he revealed that he had McCurdy on his show the day that she released her memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died. Despite what Peck believed to be a positive interview, McCurdy asked him to never air it. As Peck's co-host Ben Safa explained, "We were truly good guys, unbelievable interview. Spoke about everything that she wanted to, nothing that she didn't want to."
It ended, and she told us not to run it. We've spoken about this endlessly.
Peck said that he invited McCurdy back on, only to discover that his message remained undelivered. As he put it, "All I wrote to Jeanette after 6 months was, hi, I got a green bubble. Am I blocked? I think I might be blocked."
She was on a 12-hour flight. Here's hoping.
This discussion didn't sit well with several observers, with one person writing on social media, "Nothing screams friendship like discussing your friend's traumatic experience on a public platform without their consent." Josh Peck has remained relatively quiet in the midst of allegations against Dan Schneider. After Quiet on Set aired, he took to Instagram to address the abuse that his co-star Drake Bell endured. As he wrote, "I finished the Quiet on Set documentary and took a few days to process it. I reached out to Drake privately, but want to give my support for the survivors who are brave enough to share their stories of emotional and physical abuse on Nickelodeon sets with the world." But some observers have found his comments to be contradictory, especially after he posted a video on TikTok in which he called out people from his past. The clip features Peck lip-syncing to a piece of audio that says, "If I haven't talked to you since 2023, take that as a sign that you don't exist to me anymore. Damn you bug, you got sprayed with the raid. Bye, see you never." A social media user then claimed that she was blocked by Peck after commenting on his video. As she revealed in a TikTok of her own, "I think I just got blocked by Josh. I've supported Josh Peck since Drake and Josh, and all the years since, and I got blocked."
So here's your fair warning to not comment anything about Quiet on Set in his comment section, or you will be blocked.
All right, righty. Now we're gonna expose Nickelodeon. Like, the whole Freemasonry symbolism of Nickelodeon. We're gonna expose that now. Like, we already exposed the recently of Nickelodeon. What's been going on there tonight, but now we're about to expose Nickelodeon. Now we're really going to expose it. First, we're about to go into conspiracy truth mode of Nickelodeon. But I'll be right back. Hold on. Alright, I'm now back. Oh, hello, remote tripod. Hello. True, that true. Yeah, I'm gonna show some more of Nickelodeon. I'm about to expose more. So we're gonna go with this latest video, then another video. Let's go.
Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Truth Talk episode. In today's episode, we'll be talking about Jeanette McCurdy, revealing the truth about Hollywood. Let's get right into it. If you're a millennial, then chances are you have seen Nickelodeon's former hit show, iCarly, which starred Miranda Cosgrove and Jeanette McCurdy. Jeanette McCurdy played the character Sam on the show, which aired for 5 years. Jeanette would then go on to star in her own spin-off show, Sam and Cat, with co-star Ariana Grande. Jeanette was the perfect example of a successful child star who appeared to be living the dream life. The thing is, according to Jeanette herself, her acting career was the opposite of a dream and much closer to a nightmare. See, after one season of Sam and Cat aired, the show was canceled, and while Ariana went on to be a global pop star, Jeanette did the complete opposite, as she chose to abandon Hollywood altogether and start a new life. Many people at the time didn't know why a child star like Jeanette, who had a Hollywood career ahead of her, would decide to get up and abandon it all. People would eventually find out that leaving Nickelodeon and Hollywood behind was possibly the single best decision Jeanette could have made back then. Even though Jeanette was a star who often was seen smiling for the cameras, according to her, the smile was fake and a facade to hide what she truly felt inside. In recent days, Jeanette has been in headlines after releasing her book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, detailing her experiences during her time as a child actor and what she truly went through behind the scenes. In her book, she reveals many of the dark truths about the industry that we often talk about on this channel. One of the most important things Jeanette talks about is being sold to the industry by her mother. In Jeanette's own words, she claimed her mother lived her acting dreams through her. In an interview Jeanette did for ABC News, she claims that she never wanted to act to begin with, stating that it was all her mother's idea.
This was never your dream. Stardom was never your dream. Whose dream was it?
My mom's. I think she wanted me to have a better life than she had, but I also think her approach was very unhealthy and informed by her own lack of self-work, and she lived vicariously through me.
Jeanette had her first audition at age 6, encouraged by her late mom, Deborah.
It felt like a lot of pressure. And then I think my mom saw my career as a way out of that life, of that way of living, of that constant grind.
As you heard for yourself, Jeanette makes it clear that she never wanted to be an actress, but her mom got her first audition when she was only 6 years old. Jeanette also stated that she became the breadwinner of the household as her mother was struggling financially. Jeanette is the perfect example of a child being sold to Hollywood by their parents. It's the sad reality of what these child stars are really put through. While these kids watching these child stars see them smiling and always happy, they have no clue what these kids are being put through to make these shows. Jeanette also claims that her mother encouraged her to develop an eating disorder in order to keep her looking younger and smaller to fit her Nickelodeon roles.
At the tender age of 11, she says her mother taught her the dangerous habit of calorie restriction, which would turn into years of eating disorders.
In many ways, your mother tried to keep you a child.
Yeah, I think my mom wanted to keep me as controllable as possible. I think she really wanted to have her influence on me, and me growing up was a threat to that.
The key to that was calorie restriction.
Absolutely. I think my mom encouraged and conditioned my anorexia because both she thought that it would in some ways help my career, and also because served her goal of keeping me young and under her influence.
As you heard for yourself, Jeanette claims her mother made her practice calorie restriction since a child, which eventually developed into an eating disorder. This right here, believe it or not, is a form of mind control. What her mother was installing in her young brain regarding food consumption changed the way her brain saw food and eating. It also changed the way she looked at herself, affecting her for years to come. Jeanette also made accusations that her mother was inappropriate with her on the regular basis until she was an adult. Sadly, this is the reality for many of these child actors. They usually are surrounded by people who are trying to take advantage of them. Jeanette also made it clear that Nickelodeon was trying to keep her quiet about what she was put through during her time there.
Reflecting back on her career, Jeanette's critical of the Hollywood machine and the world she was exposed to.
The gods will bless us, won't they?
such a young age. In her book, she writes that after Sam and Cat was canceled, Nickelodeon offered her a $300,000 thank you gift if she agreed to never speak publicly about her experience at the network, specifically with a man she refers to as the creator, who on one occasion, she says, encouraged her to drink while she was still underage and gave her a shoulder massage. In response, Nickelodeon telling ABC News, "We have no reportable response other than a no comment at this time."
I just said, no, it's not happening. It sounds like hush money to me. I'm not doing it, not taking it. And then I do remember leaning against, I think I talk about this in the book, leaning against my bed and I'm like, oh shoot, that could have put my nieces through college. Like that was some good money. But I am ultimately proud of my decision there.
As you heard for yourself, they offered Jeanette $300,000 in order for her to keep quiet and not mention anything about her experience during her time at Nickelodeon. Jeanette turned down the offer and decided to keep her freedom and integrity instead of taking the hush money and shutting up like many others in the same position choose to do. If there were more child stars like Jeanette who would come out and expose the truth about their experiences in Hollywood, maybe things wouldn't be so bad. In my opinion, one of the main reasons Nickelodeon wanted her to take that money was to keep her from talking about her experience with Dan Schneider, who created many of Nickelodeon's shows that millennials grew up watching. Back in 2018, while Dan Schneider seemed to be getting exposed left and right, Nick had no choice but to terminate their contract with Dan after years and years of working together. Dan was even in the process of working on a show for Nick called The Game Shakers, which would end up getting canceled. Nick allegedly even paid Dan millions as a thank you for his contributions to the network, a goodbye present that, in my opinion, Dan didn't deserve. To me, it appeared that Nick wanted to protect themselves from the public backlash that was coming their way due to them ignoring and probably even encouraging years of Dan's inappropriate behavior at their network. I am honestly surprised nothing was done to Jeanette over the years, as she obviously knows something Nick doesn't want others to know. She is clearly a liability for the industry. Jeanette claims that Dan Schneider was allegedly inappropriate with her on many occasions while she worked on the show. A couple years back, Jeanette even posted a strange Vine video where she appears like she's lost her mind.
Dan Schneider, I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Vine. Fine. Look what you've done to me.
Look what you've done to me.
As you saw for yourself, in the short video, we see Jeanette looking disturbing while she talks directly to Dan, ending the Vine by telling Dan, "Look at what you've done to me." Well, finally, years after this Vine has aired, Jeanette has revealed just some of the things she's accusing Dan of doing to her. According to Jeanette, she alleges that while she was working for Dan on at least one occasion, he offered her a drink that she shouldn't have been drinking at her age and also gave her a massage. If you were to ask me, this scenario explains itself, and it shows just what intentions Dan had for those young actors. I myself believe that Dan is guilty of way more than just this, but who knows if we will ever find out what he's truly done. It's obvious Dan is protected by those in power, as he never faced any legal troubles, even after it clearly appeared he was up to no good. In Jeanette's book, she talks about back when she was younger, how she felt jealous of Ariana Grande's career. As we all saw, Ariana's career kept on growing while Jeanette basically disappeared. In my opinion, the reason for this happening is obvious. Ariana Grande always seemed to have a good relationship with Dan. Even if Dan did the same to Ariana, which he most likely did, Ariana knew it was the price of being a star. Jeanette's decision to stand up for herself was what got her casted out of the industry and is the reason she wasn't given any attention. It's obvious Ariana had no issues doing whatever needed to be done to make it as a superstar, while Jeanette just wanted the nightmare to end. There's countless photos that seem to show that Ariana appeared to be close with Dan, not like other child stars who took photos with Dan who appeared uncomfortable. I have already spoken a bit about Dan and what he's accused of in the video I did about Nickelodeon. I still haven't covered Dan Schneider in full detail, so if you guys would like me to make a full video on Dan Schneider, comment Dan below. Sadly, Jeanette is the poster child of the truth about being a child star. She exposed the sad truth that many in our world choose to ignore. Hollywood is an evil, corrupt business that has no place for child actors. She also exposed how her mom did what so many parents have done to other kids, sold her to the industry that took advantage of her. It appears that to this day, Jeanette is still dealing with the trauma she faced while she was acting. Something needs to be done to protect these kids that become child stars. Often in Hollywood, they try their hardest to have total control over these child actors. They also like to make sure they can trust these young actors to play their roles and keep their mouths shut about the evil they see in the industry. In order to assure they can do whatever they want with these young actors, they do their best to separate the parents from the child in order for them to have the child actors all to themselves. This is how these children get taken advantage of, all while the parents collect the money earned by the trauma their kids are being put through. Hopefully, Jeanette's story can show some people the truth about children in Hollywood and can stop some parents from giving their kids the same fate. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, folks, we're gonna expose Nickelodeon. Give me a minute.
I'll see you in hell, baby.
Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Truth Talk episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Nickelodeon. But before we begin, I just wanted to kindly ask you guys to subscribe to my second channel, The Truth Is Second Channel. This channel currently has a copyright strike due to the Tupac video I made. I just want to make sure you guys are subscribed to the second channel if anything happens to this one. Thank you all. Now let's get right into it. In the last few months, Nickelodeon has been in the headlines as many of their former child stars have come out and exposed them for what they experienced while working at Nick. Just a few weeks ago, I made a video on Jeanette McCurdy, exposing Nickelodeon for trying to silence her, offering her $300,000 to stay quiet about her time at Nick. Jeanette refused the money and instead has released a book where she speaks about what she experienced over at Nick. Since then, a few other former child stars have decided to follow in Jeanette's footsteps and have chosen to expose Nickelodeon and reveal their experiences working for them. The more these former actors come out and expose Nickelodeon, the more and more obvious it becomes that Nick is not a place suitable nor safe for kids. Time and time again, it appears that Nickelodeon seems to protect the monsters that work there instead of the children that are a part of the shows. This is exactly what this former Zoe 101 star revealed. Alexa Nicholas, who played Nicole on Zoe 101, has come out and boldly stated that working at Nick isn't safe for children. Alexa took her allegations against Nickelodeon to their front door as she organized a protest in front of one of Nickelodeon animation studios where she publicly exposed those who she felt were monsters over at Nickelodeon. In this protest, Alexa brings up several valid concerns, and we're going to go through each one.
Hi everyone, so Eaters is here at Nickelodeon hosting Slime Time Live. So do you want to go down the aisle of slime? So first we have here a trigger warning for Nickelodeon because Nickelodeon's a trigger warning in general, but also we're about to talk about some deep thoughts, so trigger warning before we begin. And then, so first question here, how many NDAs from Nickelodeon? Because we've been hearing a lot about NDAs in general in these corporate situations, and we're a little bit concerned because how can we as the public help if we don't know what's actually happening in there? So we believe that silence is violence, so we want to know how many NDAs at Nickelodeon, from employees to the cast, etc.
As you heard for yourself, Alexa speaks about Nickelodeon's use of NDAs. This alone should be alarming. Alexa claims that Nickelodeon has a tendency of dishing out NDAs to keep their young stars from talking. Clearly, Nickelodeon is trying to silence these young actors using money and NDAs to keep the sinister truth from the world. Just think to yourself, why would a child's network need to be offering NDAs to kids? In my opinion, this speaks volumes about Nickelodeon, and it shows that they're truly trying to hide what goes on behind the scenes. Alexa makes a great point when she states, how can the public help when the public doesn't know what's going on? I don't understand how offering NDAs to children is even legal. The next thing Alexa talks about is how Nickelodeon tends to protect the monsters that work at Nick instead of the young children.
Protect children, not my own personal experience at Nickelodeon. As you can see here, it says Nickelodeon didn't protect me. I did not feel protected at Nickelodeon as a child personally. And so I'm demanding that Nickelodeon starts protecting children and not the predators. How many predators? That's a heavy question, but we would like an answer to that. How many have been at Nickelodeon? How many kids have suffered within Nickelodeon?
As you heard for yourself, she talks about her personal experience at Nickelodeon, where she states she didn't feel safe working there as a child. She demands that Nick stop protecting the monsters that they hire, something we know is never going to happen. She also asks a very important question that I myself am curious to know. How many monsters do Nickelodeon have working out their network with these young kids? How many more kids were paid to keep quiet about the evil they experienced over at Nick? The next thing Alexa talks about is the alleged biggest monster of them all, Dan Schneider. Alexa claims that while she was working on the set of Zoe 101, Dan and a few other executives brought her to a room alone to yell at her. She claims that they made her cry while she was away from her parents. This just continues to prove that Nickelodeon isn't a suitable place for children to work at. If they're willing to do this to these child actors, I believe they're capable of doing much worse. Alexa also talks about Dan's production company called Schneider's Bakery.
Ever since you tried Tangy Hidden Valley Ranch, we've been losing followers. Neto, people don't follow us to watch you eat ranch.
She requested an investigation be launched into Dan's production company, as she believes a lot of the footage recorded for Dan's shows were inappropriate and should be looked into. In my opinion, I myself believe there's more disturbing footage hidden away in Dan's possession. Who knows how many children Dan handed out NDAs to? How many times did he use his money to silence the truth? Alexa even states that when she looks at footage from Zoe 101 as a parent, she feels deeply disturbed by it. We see this with a lot of Nickelodeon shows. These children are told to do things for these shows that as children, they might not seem so concerning. But this all changes when you become old enough to understand. Alexa also claims that Dan's lawyers were trying to contact her to meet with her so that they can come up with an agreement. Alexa believes this was another one of Dan's NDAs. This is very concerning to me. Something indeed needs to be done. There should be no reason these adults are out here handing out NDAs to children. In my opinion, this should definitely be illegal. We know many people are willing to just take the money and keep quiet. This is what allows these monsters to continue to harm others.
Dan Schneider, and to me, he is the creator of childhood trauma. He played a huge role in my personal childhood trauma. I did not feel safe around Dan Schneider while I was working at Nickelodeon. Actually, every time he came on set, my body got extremely tense. And later on in season 2, he yelled at me, made me cry in a room actually at Nickelodeon. I'm not sure if it was at Burbank or Nick on Sunset. I think it was Nick on Sunset. But him and a bunch of the executives made me cry in a room alone. And I don't think any child should have to experience anything like that, especially if it's coming from people that are supposed to be looking out for the kids on set. That's deeply concerning to me. So next, investigate Schneider's Bakery. A lot of the footage on Schneider's Bakery TV show are concerning to me as a parent. So I would like Nickelodeon or someone actually external to Nickelodeon, not Nickelodeon, to investigate Schneider's Bakery. There was footage on Zoe 101 alone that when I look back at it now, I'm deeply uncomfortable by it. Even if you say you didn't know or you were just being like, childlike or whatever, I don't believe that, because an adult should know how that could be seen to others, and it puts kids in a vulnerable position, and it's very, very alarming and concerning. So I would like someone to investigate Schneider's Bakery and see what actually was going on in there and how many NDAs from Schneider's Bakery. Schneider's Bakery lawyer actually called me in 2019 asking me to come into a room with Dan Schneider to come up with some type of agreement. And so I'm guessing that was probably an NDA. I'm not fully sure, but it sounded like it. So Schneider's Bakery tried to silence me. So I would like them to investigate.
As you heard for yourself, Alexa felt like Dan was trying to silence her and stop her from revealing the truth about his ways. Alexa continues her protest by exposing the monsters that work at Nickelodeon.
Them to investigate. All right, slime time, trigger warning. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folks who worked at Nickelodeon around children. One of them here was a production assistant for Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights. He worked at Nickelodeon. He was convicted, trigger warning, a child at Nickelodeon. He was in the animation section, but he actually brought over a child to a studio where he sadly child there at Nickelodeon, which is red flag Nickelodeon. Ryan Peck, dialogue coach for all that. He did the comedy boot camp with Dan Schneider. So this was or is a friend of Dan Schneider, convicted on set. Slime. Marty Weiss, child talent manager who bring kids to Nickelodeon. Jason Handy, production assistant for The Amanda Show, convicted. We have John here from the Ren and Stimpy Show. He was accused of teenagers who looked up to him as a mentor, so slime him as well. All right, so we have Sharon Lieblein. She was the vice president of talent. I have her here as enabler because she was in the room the day that I got verbally abused by Dan Schneider over there. She said to me, "Why are you crying?" and was basically making fun of me at 12 or 13 years old, telling me that it was not called Nicole 101, it was called Zoe 101, and told me that I should just be sucking it up, basically. She also told me that she's the reason I got the show, that I wouldn't have gotten the show if it wasn't for her. So that was a little bit traumatizing in general to hear an adult saying something like that to you. So I have her here as an enabler because she worked close to Dan Schneider and nobody did anything about the that was happening on the set of Zoe 101. I just want to go through this like one more time. Like what we're seeing here is a bunch of professional execs at Nickelodeon who did not protect the children on set. That's what I'm trying to show here today, that children on Nickelodeon were not safe, at least the time when I was on it. I'm not sure if they changed anything, but what's deeply concerning to me is that Nickelodeon still has not given a comment to, for example, Jeanette McCurdy. Even to me, I've come forward multiple times. They've never given me an
As you heard for yourself, Alexa then goes on to name a few of the convicted monsters that Nickelodeon had working over at their network. The first person she calls out is Easy.
It's here. It's here. It's here. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Who was a production assistant for Nickelodeon and also worked with Adam Sandler in the past. She states that he was convicted of doing something very bad to a child, with it happening at a Nickelodeon studio. If you want to know exactly what he did, just Google his name and you can easily find it. This is very concerning, as how was this man able to do this evil inside of Nickelodeon's building, with no one ever speaking out? The next person she talked about was Brian Peck, who did the same exact thing as Ezio, and is also convicted for it. I have spoken about Brian Peck often on this channel, and I found it strange that he would continue to get work at children networks after his conviction, as he worked at Disney when he was released from prison. She also talks about Marty Weiss, who was the child talent manager, and states that he was also convicted of doing the same as Brian Peck. What makes this even more disturbing was that Marty was in charge of bringing in talent to Nickelodeon. This means he was around these children often. She also talks about Jason Handy, who worked as the production assistant for The Amanda Show. He also did the same exact thing as the rest of the people on this list and was convicted for it. The fact that Nick had so many monsters working for them makes it so hard to believe that Nick didn't know what was going on and it was all just a coincidence. Alexa also mentions the creator of the Ren and Stimpy Show, someone that we have already spoken about as well. Alexa makes it clear that Nickelodeon isn't at all safe for children, something that I've said multiple times on this channel. This is why it's important to protect our children. We all saw recently with the Tiffany Haddish situation that children cannot be trusted with those in Hollywood. Time and time again, they take advantage of their power. Recently, another Nickelodeon star, Daniela Monet, has come out after Jeanette McCurdy, exposing Nickelodeon for what she claims was those at Nick making her wear inappropriate outfits for the show, and also making her film a scene where she felt uncomfortable. She claims that Nickelodeon had her film a scene where she was forced to repeatedly put on lip gloss and eat a pickle over and over again for hours. It's clear that Nickelodeon is using these actors to push an agenda to children. There's been many times that Nickelodeon has been guilty of sneaking in scenes into their shows that are very inappropriate for children. Nick has earned the trust of parents around the world, and now we see what they're doing with that trust. We know why these things keep happening, as those in Hollywood have given their souls in order to have the world. There's so much more I wish I could have put in this video, but sadly, it would have violated YouTube community guidelines. Like I always say, we must protect our children from the evils of Hollywood. We must also help those who can't see the truth find the truth. Well, that's it for this video.
Nickelodeon, satanic. They also with Dan Snyder, Freemasonry, the Nuben, you know. Oh, Nickelodeon, we know Nickelodeon is one of the evil, sick place. And like I said, the next place going to get exposed will be Disney. Oh, Disney, I can't wait till you get exposed for all the sick, evil stuff that y'all done, all the agendas you push, just like Nickelodeon. And then after that, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, you'll be next. You'll be next on that list after Disney. Oh, you will be next. And there is another programming I didn't think about that needs to be exposed. PBS Kids. PBS Kids need to be exposed as well. Even that needs to be exposed. Yeah, PBS Kids need to be exposed too, because they've been pushing genders. They've been pushing their agendas too for years. Just like Nickelodeon, just like Disney, just like Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, they all been pushing their agendas. So yeah, I'm gonna add PBS to that list. PBS Kids to that list. And then the other TV show networks need to be exposed, like USA and stuff. They need to be exposed as well. What I always say is, you never trust Hollywood. Never trust Hollywood. Period. Now, I've heard from certain people saying, like, the good parts, of course, they worked in Hollywood. Certain people who are actors or actresses. And then you got the ones that's Hollywood is Hollywood regardless. Like, I understand, there's certain people that have certain experiences when it comes to that. And certain people who did. But we can't give Hollywood a pass. Hollywood is just too damn evil. In general. Period. Now, what my next stream gonna be when I come back very, very soon? Well, I had some ideas of mine of the next ones I want to expose. I had some other ideas. Disney, Cartoon Network. I will be doing a real talk stream of off the grid, of course, again, but it's gonna be involved with something else. 3 new topics of that. And that's going to be about it. And then I thought I'd just get back to making regular videos of what's going on. And I will expose celebrities too when I have the time to, when I get the chance to. And also what's currently going on. I will say that. So, shalom, yeah. I'm probably going to, I am going to end it from here. Because I am. Definitely gonna end it from here because there's nothing else for me to expose of Nickelodeon because Nickelodeon's already been exposed already. So much, like so many times now. It's like people already know the truth about Nickelodeon, what happened with Dan Snyder and them. People already know, like from off Instagram and all that. And if you probably want to say is what's that they call, of course, that they showed, of course, on Hulu Plus and HBO Max. Quiet off the set, the documents of all that, and what happened to the dark side of the recording of the kids shows, like all that, and the Amanda Show and Zoe 101 and stuff. Oh yeah, you can see the documentary for yourself. I don't need to watch it because I already seen YouTube videos about this a long time ago about this and about Dan Snyder as well. So I don't need to see none of that. I'm already aware of it. But yeah, Nickelodeon, you could burn in hell. I don't give 2 shits. You could burn in hell. And Cartoon Network could join along with you. Don't swim. Disney, all of them could join along with y'all for the ride. Have fun crumbling to the ashes that you don't exist. And I said PBS Kids need to be exposed to what I meant, what I said. 100%. So that's all I got to say, everybody. Shalom, shalom. I'm going to end it from here. That's all I got to say. I did expose Nickelodeon for what it is. Because there is some hidden messages of Nickelodeon. If I can find a richer video of Nickelodeon on YouTube, I will expose Nickelodeon for what it is. But hold on for 1 minute. All right, folks. All right, folks. All right, folks. Before I end this stream, exactly, we're gonna expose Nickelodeon for what it is. I'm not talking about what currently what was going on from years ago to now. I ain't talking about that form of Nickelodeon. We're about to expose Nickelodeon for what it is. We're about to get into the whole conspiracy part of Nickelodeon, the truth about Nickelodeon. So give me 1 second. I already have the video ready to go. I'm going to expose it for what it is. So give me 1 second. All right, folks. All right, folks. I hope you're ready for the harsh truth of Nickelodeon, like the real truth about Nickelodeon. Like I really hope you're ready for this because you're not gonna like what you're going to find out. But let's continue.
Have you heard? Mel Jackson, he fights like a demon.
The agenda. Let's.
Recently, I read the word.
The agenda. Let's.
Stupid YouTube. Let's go.
Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Truth Talk episode. In today's episode, we'll be talking about how Nickelodeon pushes the agenda. Let's get right into it. Nickelodeon is one of the more popular TV networks that is dedicated to creating child-friendly content. Nick launched this channel on April 1st, 1979, and ever since, it has been a huge success with kids. Nickelodeon has released tons of hit animated shows and live-action shows over the years, like SpongeBob SquarePants, Fairly Odd Parents, Hey Arnold, Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious, and many more. Nick, like Disney and Cartoon Network, has earned a reputation of providing safe content for all kids. This made parents around the world feel safe, allowing their children to watch Nick's broadcasting without their supervision. And why wouldn't they? All Nick shows are made strictly and solely for kids. The thing is, as you will soon learn in this episode, most of Nick's biggest shows are made for much more sinister reasons than just the entertainment of kids. Nick's shows are loaded with Freemasonic imagery, and in my opinion, are made to expose our children to Masonic ideologies. As we have come to learn on this channel, the Freemasons have their hands in just about everything that reaches the masses. Hollywood has been pumping out Masonic programming for the masses since its inception, and this is the same thing we have seen with Nickelodeon. Many of Nickelodeon's biggest shows are designed to push an agenda. While parents freely let their children watch Nick, their children are being exposed to content that is programming their brains into accepting Masonic morals. We live in a world where many kids are raised by their TVs or their tablets, and I myself was allowed to watch Disney and Nickelodeon all day without any limitations as a child. I, in many ways, as a child of the 90s, was manipulated by what I saw on networks like Disney and Nickelodeon. In my opinion, Nickelodeon, just like Disney and Cartoon Network, were all made by the Masons with the same exact goal. The best way to indoctrinate the masses is by starting as soon as possible, and exposing the youth to Masonic programming is the best way. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at some of Nickelodeon's biggest hit shows and showing just how much Masonic imagery we see. We will also be talking about some of the questionable employees Nick has had over the years, and how to me it proves that Nick isn't so safe for kids. If you guys would like me to cover Cartoon Network next, let me know in the comments. The first show we need to talk about is SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants is one of Nickelodeon's most successful kid shows they ever created. According to Nick, the show has been the #1 animated kid show for the last 17 years. As of May of 2022, Nick has released 276 episodes of SpongeBob and a total of 13 seasons, grossing the network a whopping $13 billion in merchandising alone. And those numbers are only for 2019. SpongeBob premiered July 17, 1999, and it starred a goofy yellow sea sponge named SpongeBob SquarePants. Kids indeed loved the show, and I myself was a young kid who used to watch the show all the time. On the surface, the show appears harmless and just another colorful animated show, but we can easily see tons of one-eye symbolism and other Masonic symbols within the show. We have seen a lot of Masonic imagery in kids' shows in the past, but none of it compares to the SpongeBob episode called Cephalopod Lodge, coincidentally from SpongeBob's 6th season being the 13th episode. The entire episode was literally about Squidward being a Freemason. The episode shows Squidward leaving in the middle of the night to attend a Masonic lodge. SpongeBob and Patrick secretly follow Squidward to the lodge and catches the lodge members performing a Masonic initiation ritual. SpongeBob then gets discovered and the lodge members kick all three of them out. Literally, the entire episode was just Masonic propaganda created with the sole intention of introducing young children to Masonic ideologies. This episode, that was created for kids aged 6 to 11, showed Masonic temples, all-seeing eyes, and even a Masonic initiation ritual. I saw this episode as a child when it aired, and to me, it was just another SpongeBob episode. Now, as an adult, we can see this should not have been shown to children. We must remember that they call TV shows TV programming for a reason. It's created to program those who watch it. We see more Masonic imagery in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie that was released in 2015. The villain character was a dolphin named Bubbles, which for obvious reason wore an Illuminati pendant and a robe, once again directly pointing to the Masonic Order. There's another SpongeBob episode from the 4th season called Good Neighbors, and it again seemed to show SpongeBob again dressed in Masonic attire in front of an all-seeing eye. There's even a moment in the episode where Patrick and SpongeBob openly talk about doing rituals.
Secret ritual.
To inaugurate you as president.
As you heard for yourself, once again, Nickelodeon wanted the world to know that they were ran by the Masonic Order. In my opinion, the show has many questionable moments and is clearly created to push a Masonic agenda. The next show we're going to be taking a look at is The Fairly Odd Parents, another hit animated show for Nickelodeon which premiered on March 30th, 2001, releasing 172 episodes with a total of 10 seasons. Just like SpongeBob, The Fairly Odd Parents was an animated kids show that was very popular throughout the 2000s. And just like SpongeBob, The Fairly Odd Parents is once again loaded with Masonic imagery and moments that leave you with tons of questions. The Fairly Odd Parents was about a young boy named Timmy who was miserable because his parents often ignored him and left him with a mean babysitter named Vicky. Because he was so miserable, the fairies granted Timmy 2 fairy godparents to grant him every wish. Just like we saw with SpongeBob, The Fairly Odd Parents appeared innocent and just like any other animated kids show, but in reality, it secretly once again had Masonic programming for kids. In the very first season, in the second episode named Transparent, we quickly see what's the purpose of this show. In the episode, Mr. Crocker, who is Timmy's school teacher, is trying to capture Timmy's fairy godparents. Each time he gets close to capturing the fairy godparents, he has very strange outbursts.
New World Order! New World Order! Position of power, a seat on the throne, New World Order!
As you heard for yourself, Mr. Crocker yells New World Order on one of the scenes, and then in another one, he yells Position of Power, Seat on the Throne, New World Order. Clear as day, Nickelodeon is letting us know that they're a part of the plans to bring in the New World Order. They're openly admitting that they want a position of power in the new Masonic world. Throughout the show, Mr. Crocker continues to make these strange outbursts. I don't see how they would need to make these jokes referring to the New World Order to, again, 6 to 11-year-old children. We can find tons of other open Masonic imagery throughout many of Nickelodeon TV shows. In Hey Arnold, they again show the all-seeing eye in at least one of the episodes. And in the Hey Arnold movie released in 2002, we can even again hear references to the New World Order. They even have instances where they display the number 666 and 13, once again, open Masonic imagery. The next Nickelodeon show we need to talk about is The House of Anubis, which again is full of Masonic imagery. The House of Anubis was released on January 1st, 2011, and once again we saw the show full of Masonic imagery. We can clearly see the all-seeing eye throughout the show. The show even features a secret society that performs ritual magic, once again exposing its young viewers to occultic imagery. Another show that once again was pushing this occultic imagery, made by Nickelodeon, is their show Every Which Way, which is about a teen witch attending high school, who we can see performing spells and rituals, painting witchcraft in a good light, just like we saw Disney, how they normalized the occult with their content. Now we need to talk about the other side of Nick, which is Teen Nick. Many of you should remember me talking about the TV producer Dan Schneider, who is responsible for making many of Nickelodeon's most successful live-action shows. Shows such as Drake and Josh, iCarly, All That, Victorious, Zoe 101, Sam and Cat, and The Amanda Show, with almost all these shows being a hit for the network. Growing up, I watched a lot of these shows created by Mr. Schneider, and I never really realized anything off about them. In many of Mr. Schneider's shows, it appeared that he would create moments in the episodes where it consisted of the young actors showing off their feet. Many people over the years have come out accusing Mr. Schneider of being into feet and using this TV show to get his fix. In 2018, Dan was let go from Nickelodeon, but the split seemed to be in good terms, as Dan was paid a whopping $7 million for his inconvenience. There's many different articles online that make claims that Mr. Schneider, along with his good friend Brian Peck, would invite young actors unsupervised to his home where he would host pool parties. Dan Schneider would tell these young actors' parents that these young actors needed to come alone and that it would be a good opportunity for them as other big show producers were present. I have spoken about Brian Peck in the past. He used to work with Dan on All That, and he was also let go from Nickelodeon after he was arrested and convicted of doing something he's not supposed to be doing with one of those Nickelodeon actors. I cannot go into detail about what he did, but you can easily find it by just simply Googling Brian Peck charges. Brian Peck served 16 months in prison and was then released and managed to get a job at Disney, working on a few episodes of Zack and Cody. Even after his conviction, he was able to get hired again, working with young actors. Another man we need to talk about is John Kricfalusi, who was yet another Nickelodeon producer who produced the show Ren and Stimpy. I'm sure many of you have seen Ren and Stimpy and could agree that this show should have never been created for kids, as it was very disturbing. John, just like Dan and Brian, had a problem when it came to girls who weren't old enough. One of those girls that John should have not been talking to was a fan who sent him a fan letter in hopes of working for him one day. John took advantage and invited her to intern at the network, and you can imagine what happened next. Again, I cannot go into details about what John was accused of, but simply just Google searching John Kricfalusi, you can find out exactly what he did. Apparently, many people at the network were well aware of John's new girlfriend and had no issues with it. Nobody that worked with John ever came out and spoke about what he was doing. Many even said that John was protected at the network. In my opinion, this seems to be the case, as it makes you wonder just how many people are like Dan, John, and Brian working at Nickelodeon, but just haven't been outed yet. As we saw in this episode, we shouldn't blindly trust any TV network, especially not Nickelodeon. They have managed to earn the trust of parents, and in my opinion, are taking advantage of that very trust, programming these kids with Masonic ideologies. When I was a kid, many of these shows I spoke about today, I used to watch. Never as a child did I ever realize what I was consuming. It's clear that Nickelodeon, just like Disney, is pushing a Masonic agenda, preparing the masses for the new Masonic world. We must not let these networks like Nickelodeon manipulate the minds of our children. If you want my advice, if you choose to let your children watch Nickelodeon, just make sure you monitor them. This way you know exactly what they're watching. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, shalom. Later, everybody. Like I said, next time soon, I expose PBS Kids, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. And then after that, we'll get to exposing actual stuff that's going on in this world. You will see. And we're going to do real talk some more about Off the Grid. And then like when I do come back, I'll do streams, of course, when I'm not using StreamYards, about what's really going on in the world, like I've done before. So say shalom. Y'all say safe, everybody. Take it easy. And I'll say this again. Hollywood, the elites, the shadow government, you will never win this war. You will lose this war. Physically and spiritually. Shalom. Later, everybody.